Here again, we're going to have Tyrese, one of the kings of R&B, speak on his post-divorce struggles. Here in the quotes, he says, "I wanted to get married and do it for the rest of my life." And I believe him. I believe him. In the caption, we're going to see the Shade Room writes, "Roomies, we can all agree that public breakups are the worst, but it's not often we get to see the pain after the fallout." Tyrese is about to change all that in a brand new episode of Stepping into the Shade Room. He's pulling back the curtain and talking about all his post-divorce struggles, pain, realities he never thought he'd have to face, and how this chapter of his life inspired his new album, Beautiful Pain. Head over to our YouTube channel now for the full episode. I'll probably watch the full episode. And people don't understand, divorce, particularly for men, it's almost like it's a death. It's equivalent to a death. And they said for kids in that situation, even though it's a baby in Tyrese's situation, but for kids, a divorce, they say it's worse for the kid than if the parent died. So this is what experts have also said about divorce. So divorce is a very serious matter, particularly when it comes to men. But let's take a listen. Fair use, by the way, fair use.
I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of this, but I am curious. Mm-hmm. Did she ever give you your name back or no? Because I know that's something you were like, I want my name back.
No. And I don't even understand why people, men or women, I don't understand why you would hold on to a last name. It's just very easy. You changed your name when you got married. You could change it back.
Yeah. My last question on this, because again, I don't want to dive into that, but I know.
But you still diving.
I know, but it's my last dive. It's my last dive.
I said I'm here. Let's do it.
The child support payments. Did you ever get those lowered? Because I know at some point it was the whole thing, like $20K a month.
I've never paid $20,000 a month in my life. It's what she's asking for.
That's what she was asking for. Yeah, got it.
Without realizing that there's no child on any level that needs $20,000 in Atlanta.
Right.
Truth be told is she makes about $160,000 a year herself. Mm-hmm. I do really well for myself. If you get into the actual needs of the child, our daughter will never be without. So if you're going to leave me and you and your lawyers are now trying to take my life with you, there's no alimony. We had a prenup. I'm confused as a mother. We had a baby and we're sharing this baby. So let's just make sure the baby is okay.
But you came out on top.
Tyrese is hilarious, though, by the way. Tyrese, he's just unintentionally funny. I love this guy.
That's great.
No. I'm not out on top.
Same with Tank and to a lesser extent, Genuine. Genuine funny, too. Genuine a funny dude, too.
Why not? What do you mean?
Because I'm not married no more. And I don't live under the same roof with my child. And I wanted to get married to do it for the rest of my life. I am a failure.
Wow. Shout out to Tyrese for saying that at the end. He said, look, I don't feel like I came out on top, because he feels like he's a failure, particularly. Hey, look what he said. Look what he said. Because I'm not married anymore, and I don't get to live under the same roof as my kids with a structure. And that's what he wanted, a structure. You know what I'm saying? This is why you make the money that you make, so you can give your family a structure. This is the stuff that even Corey Holcomb has talked about, but people just kind of downplay it. And people don't understand, when women just rip the cord out, they don't realize the investment that men will make. And then just for them to just pull the cord, and they don't understand the investment, not just in just her, but the child that's in the situation. Because what's interesting is this: it's rare that women will pull the ripcord early, meaning in when it comes to divorce, women rarely pull the cord without a kid. So let me dive into that. Pause. If it's like 2 years into the marriage and it's a man and a woman, if there's still no kids being produced, it's rare that the woman is going to initiate divorce when there's no kids. That's rare. Like if you are a married man and your wife pulls the cord 2 years in and there's no kid, you guys had no kids, that is a blessing, because now you have a chance. I'm talking about, you have a legit chance to just pay her off, whatever you need to pay her, and you don't even have to deal with that broad for the rest of your life. But what most women do, they make sure they get the investment first. So they make sure they get a kid or two out of you. And then once it's like 5 years in, 7 years in, and then once that financially that's secured, that's when they'll pull the plug. Once they get a kid out of you or a couple kids out of you, that's when they'll pull the plug, because now you got to deal with that broad, because like I said, you can't cover You can't put child support in alimony. And when you're making, I'm sorry, in a prenup. In a prenup, you can't. Child support doesn't go in prenup. So prenups only work if it's just like you and her, and there were no kids. That's when you probably have a chance. And even then, that prenup can still be challenged. But prenup doesn't cover child support, because now when a kid is involved, that's when the divorces get real messy. That's when, you know what I mean. So this is what he means right here.
I don't want to.
But yeah, shout out to Tyrese here. Shout out to Tyrese here. And people don't understand, a divorce is like a death. A divorce is like a death. Many people won't. They don't understand that, but a divorce is like a death. Now, I want to do something here real quick, because I do this. I'll say this. I'll do this often before I close. Let me see if I do I still have that picture, because I always say this is where Tyrese needs to take accountability here. So you see this picture here. I like to show this picture. People be like, man, this is an annoying Chris Mike is an annoying ninja. I know, I get it, but I need to bring this point home, because what a lot of people do, men and women, we ignore the red flags of people that we find attractive. So when Tyrese met this broad, he was fresh out of a divorce with his first wife, and we already know the statistics of men that go into their second marriages is like the divorce rate is like 75%. So that means it's basically bound to happen if a man gets married a second time. So I guess nobody really told him this. Now, I already know what happened. He probably met her. She fit his attraction type. Now, because she fit the attraction type, it was a lot of red flags he probably ignored. Now, one thing you have to understand, one red flag that men should not ignore from women is if she's just, she's saying all the right things and she just agrees with everything that she says. That's a red flag. I know people might disagree with me on that, but I'm just saying, like, the way men and women are wired, we're not really supposed to. We're different people. We're different beings. Men and women are different. We're not really supposed to be agreeing with everything like that. So I'm pretty sure Tyrese confided in her, told him everything that his ex-wife was doing to him, and I bet you she was like, oh, wow, I would never do that to you. I would never divorce you. I would never take your kid away from you. Or remember Tyrese was describing her and saying that she was saying, I'm just a simple woman and all this stuff. But Tyrese, you got to be honest. That's fake. If she was saying because Tyrese was describing what she was saying and all this stuff, that's fake. And you need to be on guard, particularly you as a celebrity singer, R&B star, an R&B king. You got to know that most women are not going to be just with you just because of you. Those days are over, especially if you're in the entertainment industry. That's basically impossible to find a normie chick that's going to be with you because she likes you for you. That's damn near impossible, especially in America. So that, I believe Tyrese needs to take responsibility on that end in terms of missing those kind of red flags, particularly when it comes to ninjas. We like women that look like this. And they won't, ninjas is not going to admit that. They think it's always, it's overweight white women now, because those are just broke. Those are the overweight white women is what ninjas go to when they're broke and they're not on their feet. Once they get money, they get women that look like this. If they have some kind of fame with them, or they got some kind of notoriety, they get a broad that looks like this. All right. That's why I like showing this picture. And when it comes to broads that look like that, they get away with murder. They get away with a lot of stuff because a lot of time ninjas are looking past the red flags because she fits a certain attraction type that ninjas like. And like I said before, people ignore the red flags. They ignore the red flags if somebody fits their certain physical attraction. And I say, men, we can't fall for this, and women fall for this. Or I'll say women fall for this all the time when it comes to their attraction type, because women are not even women are only attracted to like 10% of men. They don't even realize it. They're like, they don't even realize they're only attracted to 5 to 10% of men. So once they get into certain situations and they get played, it's they completely bring it upon themselves because they don't realize that they have no leverage. If a guy is fitting their quote unquote physical attraction type, she doesn't even realize she's one of many. And she has no leverage in those kind of situations. So these are the things that I believe when it comes to I believe when it comes to men and women, we fall victim to this. And I'll say Tyrese fell victim to allowing his physical attraction type to finesse him in the beginning and overlook a lot of red flags. So, but I'll say this, shout out to Tyrese. You know, he's going through it because a divorce is like it's a death. So hopefully things work out. I you know, shout out to him for not flexing at the end saying, oh, you know, I won in my divorce, but being just really vulnerable and to say, look, I can't even, now I have a custody arrangement basically where he has to ask permission from the state, including his ex, to see his own kid. That's always been crazy to me, but this is the situation that he's in now. So this is why he doesn't even consider that a W.